Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not.
I would lead thee and bring thee into my mother's house, who would instruct me. I would cause thee to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate.
Who is this that cometh up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I raised thee up under the apple tree. There thy mother brought thee forth. There she brought thee forth that bare thee. We have a little sister, and she hath no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she shall be spoken for? If she be a wall, we will build upon her a palace of silver. And if she be a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar.
Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon. He let out the vineyard unto keepers. Every one for the fruit thereof was to bring 1,000 pieces of silver.
Thou that dwellest in the gardens, the companions hearken to thy voice. Cause me to hear it.
To make microparticle colloidal silver, the water must be as mineral-free as possible right from the start. This means you must use pure steam-distilled water only. Do not use any other form of water, including tap water, filtered water, reverse osmosis water, well water, structured water, or anything other than pure steam-distilled. Additionally, you should never add salt, saline solution, or anything else to the steam-distilled water in your production container. Finally, do not use water that's been refrigerated. Chilled water causes the colloidal silver making process to slow down dramatically. Use room temperature steam distilled water only.
All right, it's Steve Barwick here for www.thesilveredge.com, and I'm making this short video to answer one of the most frequently asked questions that I get from new customers. And that question is, can you use the new microparticle colloidal silver generator to make batches larger than 1 quart? And of course the answer is you certainly can, as I'm going to demonstrate for you here today in this short video. There are basically 3 things you have to remember when you're making batches larger than 1 quart, and we'll go over each of them one at a time. What you're looking at right now is a 1 quart glass canning jar, and that 1 quart jar will produce about 7 to 10 parts per million after a 3-hour running time. Okay, that's your general rule of thumb, and that's the first thing you have to remember. If you want to make a larger batch, for every quart of water, you let the generator run 3 full hours. So here we have a 1-gallon cookie jar, and you can see the generator's going like crazy. We'll let that run 12 hours because why? It's a 1 gallon, that means it's 4 quarts, and every quart needs a 3-hour running time. Okay, over here is our 1.5 gallon cookie jar. We're using that for a production container. 1.5 gallon has 6 quarts. 3 hours times 6 quarts means an 18-hour running time. Alright, so that's rule number 1, 3 hours for every quart. 3 hours of running time for every quart of water. Alright, the next rule is when you're making larger than 1 quart batches, you have to extend the length of the silver rods. That's because you have greater water volume in a larger container like that. If you look at the silver rods in this container, you'll see that they run from the bottom of the generator down to about 1 inch from the bottom of the production container. Same over here. Here's our big 1.5 gallon batch, and I'm going to zoom in on it. And you look at the silver rods, they run all the way down to about 1.5 inches from the bottom. And all you have to do to get larger silver rods like that is simply go to www.thesilveredge.com and order them online. You can order a 5-foot roll of pure .999 fine silver wire, and then you cut it to length as you need it. Whatever the length of your production container is, you cut the silver rods appropriately. Okay? That's the second thing you have to remember. And the third thing you have to remember is to make sure the mouth of the jar is small enough that your colloidal silver generator can't fall in. You don't want to end up electrocuting yourself while making colloidal silver. So as you can see, in both of these cases here where we're using the larger production containers, the mouth of the jar is smaller than the colloidal silver generator itself, so the generator cannot fall in. That's very important. Those are the 3 basic rules to remember. If you want to make larger than 1 quart batches, it's 3 hours running time for every 1 quart of steam distilled water. You have to lengthen the silver rods appropriately to fit the container. Okay? And you have to make sure that the generator itself can't fall into the container. Make sure the mouth of your production container is small enough that the generator sits on top of it with no chance of falling in. Those are the 3 basic rules for making batches larger than 1 quart. If you have any questions, you can always call us at 1-888-528-0559 or visit our website at www.thesilveredge.com.
It tells you how much parts per million. So you stick it in there for a couple seconds, stick the tip all the way in there, hit the hold button. As you can see, it's .009.
You might have noticed from time to time when making colloidal silver, particularly if you were making a highly concentrated batch, you know, a double strength or triple strength batch, that you might get some little gray silver oxide flecks in the finished solution when it's all done. And you might see them floating around in the solution or actually drifting to the bottom of the production container and settling on the bottom. These silver oxide flecks are perfectly harmless. They're actually produced on the silver rods during the colloidal silver making process. It's a function of the electricity and the water on the silver. But the silver oxide flecks they're perfectly harmless, but they're kind of unsightly in your jar of colloidal silver. So if you want to filter them out, there's a very simple way. You just take a paper coffee filter, preferably unbleached, and attach it to the top of a wide mouth jar like we have here on the left. You see the rubber band there that's holding the paper coffee filter in place, and a batch of colloidal silver on the right. And all you have to do is take your batch of colloidal silver, which I'm going to show you right here, and just slowly pour it through the paper coffee filter. And what will happen is, as the finished colloidal silver solution filters down through that paper coffee filter, any silver oxide flecks in the finished solution will be filtered out, as well as any overly large silver particles, or silver particle agglomerates, I should say. So it's a very simple process. You just pour your silver solution right on through that paper coffee filter. And then when you're done, of course, you take the paper coffee filter off and put your colloidal silver solution in a dark glass brown bottle, an amber glass brown bottle, or whatever your storage container, your preferable storage container is, and you're all done.